Edouard, I can see you and I hope I can hear you loud and clear.
Well, I hope as well. I can hear you very well. Pietro, how are you?
Thanks, Ed, for joining in. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time in a moment where probably you've been inundated by visits, inquiries, requests, interviews.
Well, it's the perfect time. I mean, it's been a while that we wanted to catch up together, and I think it's a good opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so many things have happened. Like as I was saying it before, I can't believe it was probably 2.5 or 3 years ago that I interviewed you on Instagram, and we were saying, oh, this looks good. This should be a thing. We should do this more often. And now
that was the early stage. There was like still experimenting. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how today, are you? I'm good. I mean, we're pretty excited to be able to finally meet people and have exciting discussions, presenting products, getting feedback live with journalists, with retailers, with a few collectors who made it all the way to Geneva. It's different. We're wearing masks all the time. I just took off mine for this discussion, but it's strange. It's different, but I think it's good to finally be able to socially connect with friends and people who like to see what we do.
Absolutely, also because apart from, of course, the massive, never seen before emergency that we've been dealing with, but also politically things were going a bit wrong in the watch industry with what happened with Baselworld and the transformation of SIHH into Watches and Wonders, which was supposed to be one thing, and then of course it became a different thing. So nobody knew what was going to happen to physical events, and so kudos to you all for putting this together 5 months ago when things were not looking very good, and you managed to stay strong and to carry it out, because now it's done. So well done.
Yeah, I think it's a great initiative that Jean-Christophe Babin from Bulgaria had, and putting this idea on the table and say, who wants to join, open to everyone. I think collaboration is the way to go in difficult times, and we're not fighting each other. And on the contrary, we need to to stay strong together and find solutions and try to find synergies. And I think that's a good example. I think what we did with Max was another example. And I think we will see more and more of this approach in this industry, because everybody comes to realize that that's the way to go. It's definitely beneficial to all of us. I think there's been too many years where everybody was trying to fight against each other, and hopefully we'll manage to get this big one show with all the brands. Or if it doesn't work, then let's have multiple small shows, but having the cost in our hands and not getting crazy as we've been in the last years.
Also, because this more human approach that you have been a big ambassador for since you've taken over, the control and the lead at Moses, is what collectors, it doesn't matter how serious or with what power of spending, but collectors enjoy, especially about independent watchmaking, is that human touch, that accessibility, the fact that I can talk to you, you can be out there and share opinions and views. So I definitely think, and I've learned in the last 6 months, that I think this is where the industry is going big time.
I agree. I think authenticity, being able to connect, knowing who is behind, people who hopefully you can trust, that can resolve your issues. We're selling mechanical watches, and you need to be there. It's not just, okay, you give me your money, I give you a watch, enjoy it, and bye-bye. I think it's the beginning of something. And today I have so many friends that I met through Moser, through watches, and also who met each other. This idea of community is becoming stronger and stronger, and it just came naturally. And I think what brings this community together are the people that stand behind the brand, and it's the people here from my team, Oli, who Nicolas, my brother Bertrand, Robin. We have a great team, very engaged, very honest, very knowledgeable, and that's what brings the confidence of the people. Of course, you need good products, but that's not enough.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, how did you find these 2 days so far in Geneva? Has it been definitely worth it? What's the atmosphere, and what are you learning eventually?
I mean, personally, it was, as I said in the beginning, it's very great. It's very nice to finally see people again, guys from the other brands. You know, yesterday we had chat with Max, who I haven't seen for a while. There was Georges Kerr and Jean-Christophe Babin. There was you know, Xavier from Czapek. There was Remy from Moverk, and many people that we haven't seen for a while, and always sitting down together and having a chat and meeting all those journalists who have become our friends as well, and retailers who come over. It brings you energy. I think everybody's super happy to be here. Everybody is excited and is extremely positive about this initiative. And at the end of the day, you know, if you have something to say, we have great products. We launched the Streamliner yesterday. Great feedback. It's a good opportunity to say, okay, we have something new. The Geneva Watch Days is the platform to launch it. It might not be Watches and Wonders. It might not be Baselworld, but still it's a great opportunity to do that. And at the end of the day, we're doing so many meetings like now online. We're pretty much meeting all our retailers, and we had physical meetings with around 90 journalists in 3 days, plus a lot of Zooms with our team in Hong Kong, Dubai. I mean, it's the best return on investment ever in comparison with those big fairs. So, you know, one into the other, not a bad solution.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to go down now to the nitty-gritty and talk about the products, you said you've chosen this platform for a big launch for you because the Streamliner was already a big thing when it was originally launched in the form of a chronograph powered by the Hagengraph movement. And of course, yesterday, it seemed to have gone down really well, you know, from the feedbacks I could appreciate as well, online and offline. The new Moser center second matrix screen.
Yeah, I mean, the Streamliner, when we launched it, we knew it would be a polarizing piece. I mean, we decided to go a little bit in another direction to where others might have decided to go, and try to break a little bit certain codes and rules of integrated bracelets, and find our inspirations in different worlds. And I think it worked well for us. I think for an independent brand to stand out and survive, you need to create things that are different. Because otherwise, the vast majority of people buy a name or a design they used to, and they will go to those big brands. So we need to create our own. We need to create something that has the potential of one day creating a trend of becoming an icon. And so we decided, and it was many years of work, and not. I mean, most people think it's sometimes more difficult to develop a whole new movement. I find it actually more difficult to develop a new design. It took us more time to design something like this design than anything else that we did in the last 7 years. I actually had many designs on my desk when I took over Moser when we bought Moser in 2012, but all of them reminded me of the engineer from IWC. It's our sister company next door. A lot of things we have in common. Some others were very close to the Royal Oak, which is a watch I love. You know, my father worked for AP many years. Many others were inspired by the Nautilus. Beautiful watches and beautiful drawings we had there. But for me, this was not the way to go for Moser. So we decided to take more risks and go towards something that is different, is polarizing. And I'm still surprised that we have so many positive feedback. In the past, for me, the best sign that something would work is having a lot of negative feedback. Well, the chrono has worked very well. We had a lot of people who hated it, and we still have people who hate it. But same thing with the center second. I think it might be a little bit more democratic, that size, that design. But there's always going to be people who don't find it perfect or like something else, or try to find a link to a model from the past. If you want to find a link, you will always find. But at the end of the day, I think it is Moser in the philosophy that we have, in the minimalism, in the comfort that we have with the watch. And again, it's different from the others. So for me, just that is a success. And then getting the feedback and seeing the orders falling in and people telling me, oh, we have deposits here. We have so many deposits there. Can we get more here? Can we get more there? Is the best sign of the success.
Absolutely, absolutely. Feel free to show it again because we have...
yeah, sorry.
We have that request. But the design, yeah, I agree with you, Ed. That is a category where it's very, very easy to be slated for, you know, if you get it wrong. And we had a clear feeling, and I had the privilege to see the Streamliner
in Dubai, right?
Yeah, in Dubai before it was launched, and it was I was convinced that it was far enough for whatever was had been done before, that it would have hit some chords. And I'm really happy that this is happening in such a big way for you. Also because sometimes, because humans need to categorize things, you know, we have this need every time that we are in front of the unknown to want to categorize stuff. But the design, slightly vintagey, inspired, of course, of the Streamliner, has actually nothing to do with the 70s, but more of a connection with the pre-Art Deco kind of period, and the Streamliner.
Well, yes and no. I mean, there's definitely a bit of the 70s, but keep in mind that this is a design that would have not been able to be produced in the 70s. I mean, we are using free forms in all the links on the case as well, so this was not feasible at that time. All those shapes have been drawn, but then computer generated, and then the CNC machine need to be at the top of the 6 axes to be able to produce those shapes, and then create by hand those polissage, those polished and brushed finishing on free forms is definitely not an easy task. And I think that's part of the beauty of this streamlined collection, and again, inspired by the 70s, but very modern.
Yeah, thank you. And how important was it to finally fit it with the Moser full in-house caliber? Do you feel like you have, you have ended a journey? You know, you came to the final thing that you wanted to see since you launched the Pioneer with a rotating bezel with a steel bracelet. That seemed like the time when you were starting experimenting with this idea and toying with the idea of an integrated bracelet.
To be honest, I didn't want to launch that piece, but I felt I wanted the Streamliner to be the first steel bracelet, but there was a small accident in one of the fairs when it was accidentally, believe it or not, presented to some of our retailers, and then we had to deliver it. But anyway, that's a different story. Is it the end of the journey? No, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of the journey. I think we always think at Moser in terms of, I mean, with our size, we need to think in terms of metrics. So we have 4 collections now. We have the Swiss Alp watch, which will disappear, and the Venture as well. So think of Moser as the Endeavor is our very classic collection, where we use most of our movements from the center second all the way to the minute repeater. We have the Pioneer, which is kind of our steel sport watch, a lot of bright colors, slightly more affordable. We start at about 12,000 euros. And then we have the Heritage, inspired by our antique watches from the museum, where we try to express a little bit our history. I mean, 190 years of the history, and we will continue to develop things around that. There's some animal dials, some engraved cases, etc. And then we have the Streamliner, which is a little bit of the iconic sport chic watch. So for us, the way we think is through those 4 collections with the 8, 9, 10 movements that we have, you can think in terms of metrics that every collection will eventually or could potentially have any of those movements. So today we have the chronograph that was introduced in the Streamliner, but it might well be that one day we have an Endeavor, very classic, a bit kind of Portuguese inspired chronograph with the Agenograph, which is a beautiful movement that would fit very well a rose gold classic case.
Yeah.
One day we'll have that. Maybe in 3, 4, 5 years. The Streamliner, I would love to see the perpetual calendar. I think that would be for me an ultimate piece, but it cannot be the same design of dial and representation that we have today. So there's quite some work to be done, but one day it will be there. And same thing maybe with the Tourbillon and other developments that we have. I mean, we're working on new movements constantly, and there's things that will be launched in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years. We'll see how it evolves, but it's definitely not the end of the journey.
It was my next question, where the Streamliner is going to go, and you linked up with a thought I had as well on the fact that in every edition there are certain details that are completely new. In this Streamliner, for example, you worked on the tiniest details about a new color that is developed, that is not just the cosmic green that you already had in-house, but it's a new olive red kind of, red gold kind of reflection kind of colors. You have worked on new minute markers as well. That is small detail, but it makes it really, really cool in my personal view. the half-minute markers that you're using there. So yes,
very 70s.
Absolutely, because in some of the observers' minds, a Streamliner as it is now, center second at less than 20,000 francs, is a great entry level to the Streamliner, which was before, obviously, with the Agengraph 39,000. However, still quite higher than a Pioneer, which is the entry level to the in-house manufacturing by Moser.
Yeah, but the Pioneer is on rubber. I mean, the bracelet like this is a lot of money, as it doesn't have a gold rotor. The case is very different. So, I mean, if you put a metal bracelet on the Pioneer, which is an option, you put it on top. And if you were to put the gold rotor, you will be in the same kind of pricing. So it's not
absolutely
compatible.
It's the details that make.
At the end of the day, anything we do is about details. I mean, otherwise you can do a three-hands watch, for a few $100, or you can do a Dufour and then it's a few 100,000. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's many details, and for us, we want to make sure that people get more than the value that they pay for, and it's constant, being like the hands. If you look at the hands on the Streamliner, there's this globalite, massive element of ceramic, this white element that glows in the dark. But if you look at the hand itself, it's really three-dimensional. You have like a monolith sitting on a metal plate. It's small details that, finding the right hands for a model like this one was huge work, teamwork. And I remember, actually, it's Nicholas who found the design. We were trying so many different things and trying to reinterpret the Pioneer hands, or trying to say, how could we use the Endeavor hands? And in the end, we went for something completely different, because one day, looking at historical products, something in a listing, we saw those hands that were a little bit similar, and we tried to reinterpret them. And then we were like, this is it. This is what we were looking for. Too bad it took us months and years, but that's the beauty of it.
It's hard, because I remember when I was at Girard Perregaux, which was as well an integrated manufacturing at the time, you always try to create synergies, to be able to make everything, profitable in terms of all the structures and the materials that you have in house, to try to not to have to use every time a different component, every time a different material, every time a different design. But in the end, when you look at too much in that way, then you limit yourself, and that's yeah.
I think you have to be careful. I mean, in terms of movement, that's true. But I think when it comes to the habillage, you were talking about the green. I mean, the cosmic green works very well on the Pioneer. The Pioneer, as I said, is more vivid colors. It's those bright colors. It's the bold. It's slightly bigger. Here, the green. I mean, maybe on the picture it's brighter than it actually is. As you said, it's a bronze olive type of color, and very elegant, very classic. The pictures that we've made, it's always difficult to represent the reality. I mean, you really have to see the watch. But I find it extremely elegant, and that's also the reason why we didn't choose the cosmic green. I think the cosmic green on a full steel bracelet watch like this one, on this size, 40 millimeter, 9.9 millimeter thick, was not the right color. And it's a subtle difference, but it's an important one for us, because it changes the perception of this watch. 2.5 months ago, the color of the dial was completely different. We were sitting in my office with some colleagues, and we were looking at it, and we're like, it's nice. It was very kind of a brighter green, almost like turquoise, quite vivid. And we looked at it, it was nice, but we were like, this is not it. We don't have the time. Do we have the time? I don't know, but it's not it. We don't feel that we're there yet. So I remember having Maurizio, which is the head of development and production in this, and he doesn't have hair anymore, so he was not pulling his hair, but he was like, oh my God, I see where that's going. And I said, yeah, Maurizio, we have to try it again. We need to do another batch of dyes and try another color, because we wanted something more olive, we wanted something more elegant. And it's Moser because it's bright, but I feel it's a little bit too kitschy. And this is a very, very fine line. You can be extremely elegant, and then you change slightly, and then you fall into something too kitschy. And actually, it was just under certain angles. And then we decided to change it. So thanks God we didn't launch it at Watches and Wonders, because it would be something completely different. And I love this one, and I think it was the right choice to take a little bit more time and do it properly.
So we have a question from Alsarge79 asking if you are in any way envisaging a skeleton streamliner one day.
I think we definitely, well, we've been working on a skeleton movement, tourbillon skeleton movement. I think AP and GP have beautiful movements there. But we haven't found yet the solution to make it Moser. And we've been working on it for quite some time. It's an evolution of our skeleton, our standard automatic tourbillon. But, you know, I think skeleton, you have a lot of different types of very old school skeleton, kind of rococo. And then you have the very modern, like straight lines, quite massive skeletons. And I haven't found the solution as to what are the codes of a skeleton, of a Moser skeleton. Hopefully we'll find that soon, because I think it would fit pretty well into this collection. But that's definitely not going to be the next movement in that collection. I think the perpetual calendar would probably, for me, would be the next one for the next movement.
Nice one. And yeah, so before we jump, you have mentioned quickly the Endeavor and the Pioneer. So I don't know if you have anything you can show us there. Live. I've seen a beautiful Endeavor with a blue finishing, blue towel.
Okay. Oh, this one. Yeah, well, I have another one there.
Oh yeah.
It's also it's another Endeavor, but I thought maybe that's a cool one to show. This is the collab we did with MBNF with Max. This is our Endeavor cylindrical tourbillon with the those elements from MBNF with the dome sapphire. The subdial, which was taken from the Flying T. But if you look at the I don't know if you can see properly the tourbillon, the hairspring. This is a cylindrical hairspring that we developed by Precision Engineering. We did 75 pieces of those, sold very quickly. And this is the fifth one. This is the Arctic blue color. This is the one that we're selling directly on our e-commerce. Yeah. Yeah. And this was this watch was a huge success. I think this collaboration brought a good message to the industry at a difficult time in the middle of the pandemic. And I think both Max and I and our teams were super excited about this launch. I think the message we got, the feedback we got was tremendous. I mean, beautiful watch. I know it's not the easiest to wear, but still, it's a 42 millimeter case. Yes, there's a dome on it. But still, it's a Moser. It's pretty cool, and it's been a great success. And we hope we can inspire others, and that we will do in the future other collaborations. Let me get maybe. Do we have the Pioneer Red and the Center Second Steel Purple Hand?
Yeah. So the matte red Pioneer, which was launched.
Sorry,
not long ago.
It was already there. But can you bring me the Endeavor Steel Purple Hand? So this is the Pioneer Red. That's the new baby in the Pioneer collection. We had the dark blue, midnight blue, which was a huge success actually in terms of volumes. Probably the watch we sold the most. Was very high demand, still is, but we decided to stop it. There's this philosophy that we have, which is we're trying to protect the value of the watches that we're selling for our customers, and we felt it was the right time. There's still now and then one coming on our CPO platform or on other second-hand platforms, and they retain really good value. We have the green that is still available, and now we launched this Swiss Mad Red, which is the red that we had developed at that time for the Swiss Mad. Remember this cheese watch? Exactly, yeah, and we had a lot of people who were asking, like, when are you going to do a red again? Well, that's it. That's the Pioneer. We delivered a handful of them just before the summer. Hopefully, I mean, we have a lot of requests, but unfortunately, we are a bit. There's a few models that we don't have available at the moment. The Heritage Center Second, some of the Pioneers, trying to get the Streamliners out. I know it's difficult times, but still, production is under pressure at the moment.
Yeah, I have to say.
So just be patient. It's coming. It's coming. Absolutely. Another one that you were referring to, Pietro. I don't know. You wanted to talk about the Pioneer Red again?
No, I just wanted to say that still the Pioneer, it looks to us and to most of our collectors as one of the best offers entry value to the in-house perspective.
Yeah, maybe it's good to show the movement. It's the same movement that we have in the new Streamliner, but it's a not gold rotor. But yeah, beautiful case, a lot of details on the case as well. 120-meter water resistant. We can have it on a metal bracelet. We can have it on a croco strap. We can have it in different colors. Can I have the green one, Oli, please?
Could you remind the price in Swiss francs? I know it's 12,500.
It's 12,900 Swiss francs. I'm going to show you just how it looks on the bracelet in green. So we have this this metal bracelet that can be. It's not an integrated bracelet, so you can see the lugs, but it works very well. And you can put the croco, you can put the rubber, or you can put this one with a nice buckle. It's not a butterfly buckle like on the Streamliner, but with an adjustment system, micro adjustment on this one. It's possible to do micro adjustment only on the two lambs buckles.
Yeah.
One other piece I wanted to show you, and this one you referred to, and that we're going to start delivering very soon, is the steel funky blue concept. We had white gold, we had rose gold. Now for some people, it was a little bit confusing between the white gold and the steel. So we decided to create a new code for the steel, which is the purple hand. So we have a purple flamed hand for the second. If you can see well, I'm not sure it's visible. And what we decided to do is for the steel versions, which usually is very appealing to people who understand really what Moser is and what is the mechanics behind it. We included the double hairspring system, and double hairspring system is symbolized with the blue escapement that you can see here, the blue escapement, because the double hairspring, we're using the smallest hairsprings that we can produce. It's very difficult to see it. You can see very high precision. You can see the two porte pitons. I don't know if they are visible here on both sides of the blue bridge. There's the porte piton. But to highlight it better, we decided to put this blue bridge. So that's the symbol for double hairspring for us. And it's a limited edition, 50 pieces only in steel with the purple hand, funky blue dial concept with double hairspring, and will be available in the next few weeks now. Hopefully we can start delivering in September or October.
Beautiful, beautiful, fantastic. And we've been inundated by the question whether, actually, it was one of my questions I forgot to ask, whether the Streamliner, yeah, exactly, it is not.
It's limited production, it's not limited collection. Yeah. I think that's the idea for us with this collection. I mean, we've done a lot of limited editions, and I think that was very important for us to establish the brand, to very limit. I think a product like this one, we believe has the potential to live with us for a few years. The problem with our limited editions of 100 or 50, in 6 months, they're gone. And then it's constantly requires us to launch something new, to develop something new. And we think this product, I think we have the potential to with the production that we have, to not be able to fill in the demand. And we had the same thing with the Vanta Black, where we didn't limit it because it's just limited in numbers we can produce. Here, the bottleneck for us is the production of the bracelet and the case. So we know we're not going to have enough, and reason why we decided not to limit it. So for now, it's going to be only the matrix green, and maybe in a few years we'll have another color. But I think it's important that he lives like this, that every month we can deliver 10 or something like this, and that's the way this collection will evolve. There will also be an evolution, a new chronograph in the future with another color, and this time not limited, for the same reason. I think there's we did the first one. It was the first. It was the gray fumé Streamliner limited edition. This is very special to us and all the people who bought it. So there's going to be other chronograph. Of course, we have to do that. It will be different, and it won't be limited in the future.
There's a thing to say that because of by nature,
Vanta Black,
Moser's productions will always be controlled productions. That's the thing.
It's important. I think that's what one of the things that us independents do the best is to control. Sometimes we're forced because we just don't have the capacity. But I think it's also a philosophy. We believe in luxury creating like pieces of art that are not available everywhere and to everyone. The price is obviously a barrier. That's why our prices are usually quite high in comparison with more established brands. At the same time, you won't find the same watch on the wrist of everybody else, and you won't find usually the same model still available 6 months later or a year later, etc. That's part of the philosophy. I like to say I consider ourselves a little bit like investment bankers. It's our, I mean, selling a watch is not the only responsibility we have. We have the service, but also controlling the value in the long term. And we're putting a lot of efforts and more to control that, to make sure that in the secondary market, our secondary market is clean, that the servicing is right, that the people can contact us, any of us. We have this concierge service. Oli, who's right here, can say hi. Who you know, myself, Oli. Answering emails. Say hi, Oli.
Hey, Oli. Looking good with the mask.
So he's, you know, Oli is one of our, he used to be our master watchmaker. He's answering a lot of technical emails. He's always there, available 24/7. Myself, Nicholas, we answer all emails. I get all the info at H.Moser. So we try to really make sure that we are as connected as possible and give a response whenever possible, as fast as possible, and protect the value. And that's why, for example, we stopped the midnight blue. That's why we limit the production of certain products, and so far it's worked well, and we see the trend going. The code, I mean, we control the value of the secondary market every day to see what is the trend, where is it going, and to make sure that suddenly there's not a miscalculation on our side. And we see a very positive trend at the moment. And I think also in the last few months where it was a little bit more difficult, we focused on fewer products, but a higher value. And therefore the market is not overflown with products. On the contrary, we see inventories in the market going down. We refuse opening certain point of sales because I think it's important to increase the demand before you increase the number of point of sales. And that's been very healthy to us and contributed to good profitability. And that's what allows us to continue developing new things, and not just try to use the same movement again and again. No, we have the means now to invest in the development. We are industrializing more and more the hairspring production. We're raising the capacity there, and the development of new products. And because that's what we love at the end of the day. If we're not here to continue to create, innovate, develop new things, then it gets boring.
Absolutely. And on our side, you know, we officially represent over 30 brands, you know, all of them from the independent community, as we have called it, and we can definitely see the market going more and more like that. Watchmaking, I think, has to be treated as an art, like you mentioned before. You are actually producing pieces of art that are supposed to last forever and to be passed over, you know, from generations to generations, and to symbolize the moments we're living. And I think
true, and I think another element is the people, human dimension. And I think the brands that are successful, and not only the independents. I think Patek with the Stern family. I think even AP. I mean, they have people, strong characters, people behind that represents the brand. Richard Mille is a great example as well. I think independents as well, and I think that's why we see also some people jumping from those big brands to us, independent, smaller brands, and skipping everything that is in the middle, because everything that is in the middle is dehumanized in a way. Absolutely. That's my analysis, and I think we share that with quite a lot of people.
And also, yeah, you come from a family and you know, from a brand background with Audemars Piguet that has always been a king of independence. You know, basically. Now we don't consider them as independents because independence become this alternative concept of, you know, brands that are a bit off the tracks. But AP, Patek, you know, the king of independence in a way. Yes. So it's so interesting. I find that Moser will be remembered also for the ability to mark the time, this precise time. You know, what you've done with the Swiss Alps, for example, in the historical time where digital watches were taking over, and you know, even now we're living in a world where digital watches are actually selling as one category more than the whole of the Swiss watch industry.
But I think now the message, I think you're right, and I think now it's clear. I think when we launched the Swiss Alp watch, everybody was like, this is going to destroy the Swiss watch industry, asking us, what are you going to do? And we used the Swiss Alp watch to express our vision, our value, to make a strong message about what we stand for and about our tradition, our craftsmanship. And the reason we're stopping it now is we could develop a new movement. We're coming at the end of our movement. There's going to be a final edition, very cool. It's the last dance of the Swiss Alp watch that we will be launching probably end of September.
I love the last dance.
Yeah, an amazing last piece. It's a design from one of our collectors, actually. I don't know if he's online, Moser Lover. And it's a concept. It's a very cool concept. I think it really makes it closes the circle, and then that's it. It's going to be, then we stop. And I think it was a great time. It put us on the map of a lot of people, and we don't have to continue with it. We've done it.
I think a brand relevance comes also with the ability of marking a certain historical time, like you've managed to do with a project like the Swiss Alps, and then we could mention so many others, but that was for me symptomatic of you becoming really established as a brand as you are now. So,
well, we learned from it. I think it gave us confidence. It was the first of many because it worked, and we asked ourselves, oh, okay, this works for us. How can we go further? How can we continue to express our vision through symbolic product, as long as it makes sense, as long as there's a message behind it? And that's how the Swiss Mad and the Swiss Icons, or even the Moser Nature Watch, or the collab. I mean, the collab with Max was, for me, the fifth kind of the messages after the connected watches, the Swiss Made, the marketing bullshit, the corporate social responsibility. Collaboration was the number 5, and who knows what's going to come next.
And in 50 years, like these days, we remember artistic movements because of the community that was created around them. This wave of independent watchmakers coming together and fight. I wouldn't say fighting, but just collaborating together to change an industry would be remembered, for leaving a trace and for leaving a mark. So it will only work if we do it if we do it together. I think one brand, especially a small brand like ours, won't do it alone. We need to collaborate. And I think that was a strong message of this collaboration with Max, and I think we will see more and more of those. And we're starting already, and we will do more. Perfect. And so there is a little question from one of our Middle East audience. So is Al-Sarraj again asking, of course, you have an official partner in Dubai in the fantastic, amazing family, Siddiqui family. Is the contact here is asking whether you're planning to open a boutique in Dubai at any point. I guess these are tough times to think about, pushing on.
We looked at it. To be honest, we looked at it at Dubai Mall, and you need to find the right space. It has to make financial sense. We're too small to invest too much. My brother is there. We have great presence in the Siddiqui boutique. They've been amazing, supporting us. I mean, they were the first, really, one of the first to really believe and understand what we were trying to do. And I think the success we're seeing in the Middle East is really thanks to their support. And now we're seeing cascading to other markets, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, getting better and better and getting traction there. And it's all started, I think, with Siddiqui, with Mohammed Siddiqui, really kind of understood what we were trying to do with the first concept that we did back in 2015, I think, or 16, I can't remember. Seems like a long time now. Who believed in it and said, wow, you turned something that could have been perceived as boring into a strong personality, and that was the beginning. And I remember going to the Middle East in 2013, and people were asking, what is Moser? Who is it? And 6 years later, going to the fairs and having people saying, oh, do you have this model? Oh, where can I find that? Oh, is this still available? And not having to explain who we are anymore. Within 5 years, that's incredible. And I hope it continues, because it's so exciting.
When we say that, unfortunately, independent watchmaking has been limited by, of course, retailers not being in the position of investing, enough and give space enough to independent watchmakers. The Siddiqui family was one of those that embraced the challenge a long time ago, and
I think in a very holistic approach. I mean, they were investing in fairs. I mean, the Dubai Watch Week probably contributed to us more than anything else in that region. Bringing people, us being there, creating special edition, explaining who we are. And you guys, I mean, also creating those, I mean, what we're doing now, and also on a regular basis, your newsletter, your messages about independence, that's all together contributes to building the awareness. And that's so important. Of course, on our side, our responsibility is to create things that are exciting and innovative enough that you want to talk about it or you want to talk to us. But on the other side, if there's nobody to be the relay, then it doesn't work. So I think it's kind of an ecosystem that has been created around independent brands that works well together.
Fantastic, yeah. And listen, for us, it's been a pleasure, and on the personal level, you know very well how much admiration we have for what the brand is doing, and actually,
thank you.
With the creativity you express, you're giving us easy content, you know, every day to talk about. So
in
the end, it's all about creating nice contents that on which people can indulge and get entertained. There's a little question from Irish Watch Guy, our friend Johnny, actually the editor of the limited edition, asking whether what's happening with Outlast at the moment, if there is anything new coming in the near future after the HL Sphere, which was a masterpiece, I thought.
Yeah, there will be new editions of the Sphere. We are also developing with similar principle. I mean, with on one side the movement and the display, something amazing, which will be probably towards the end of 2021. It's a huge development, probably the biggest we have ever had, on the same principle of retrograde minutes and kind of you know, jumping hour, but nothing you've seen until now. I mean, the craziest jumping hour you've seen. So it's kinetic art. We were discussing about the, I mean, we have to be pragmatic. I mean, that's a word I use a lot. Max was telling me pragmatic is the word I learned the most working with you, Edouard. But that's the way we have to think. And there's things we're going to use from Moser. For example, you were referring to the, I mean, there was this question about the skeleton. The skeleton tourbillon, as I said, it's very difficult for us to find the codes to include it into the Moser cases and the design. But we found it much easier to bring it to the Outlast codes. So there might be a first version of a skeleton special tourbillon. It's not going to be a simple tourbillon with Outlast before we do anything with it with Moser. I'm probably telling you too much here because my team is watching.
They
say it's dangerous when I talk live because I can say way too much about the things that are coming. And then they have to answer questions about clients. Say, what? I heard from Edouard that this is coming. When is it?
Thanks for the assist, Edouard, because I wanted to inform our followers, your audience, our audience, that this interview will be available on our Instagram channel, and this is where we get the most views. You tell me if at any time I have to cut any parts of it, and I will.
That's fine.
Don't worry about it.
If I say something, it's fine. It's too late then.
Yeah, absolutely. The best is Xavier from Czapek. He can't stop. Sometimes, you know, revealing, and I think sometimes he has second thoughts afterwards. But
he's a very passionate person, so I'm sure it's difficult to stop when you have so much passion for what you do. And the same for me. I mean, you're so excited about getting feedback about something. You know, I mean, it's like, I mean, to be honest, I barely sleep when I'm in those fairs, and it's not because we go out and party. On the contrary, it's more like this excitement, this adrenaline about getting feedback, getting, you know, so you've been working on something, and you want people to give you the yes or no about the product. Hopefully more like this than like that, but it's like passing an exam.
I'm not sleeping this week because I couldn't come, and I'm trying to make up with all this live and content and all of that because I feel I'm not being part for the first time in 20 years. So I can imagine you.
And I know you are as passionate as we are, so can imagine.
Yeah, we try, absolutely. Listen, Edouard, I appreciate you giving us already 45 minutes of your time. It's been a great pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
It's been really, really
Thank you
good.
for everything you do for us and all your followers as well.
Not at all, not at all. We'll send you across some questions if I couldn't follow up on all of them. And I wish you all the best for the rest of the week.
Thank you very much.
I shall see you very soon in the flesh, I hope, to be able to visit the manufacturer very, very soon. Inshallah.
Yeah, we hope so. You take care and everybody be safe. Take care and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye, Pietro. Bye-bye.